ball, he can throw the fin run the football, 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 he can throw the fin run the football.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Run and Gun. I am Evan Lasek.
And I'm Kelly Warner.
I'm going to bring you up to speed on what happened last week in the NFL and then talk about some games this upcoming week. Maybe throw in a little bit of just chat or, whatever we're feeling. No real script, so we're kind of just winging it at this point. So we'll start with the Thursday night game. The fun one, as everybody probably heard by now, the Steelers and Browns game. Browns won 21-7. Oh.
That actually was a
That
shocker.
was a shocker. Last week on this podcast, I said I thought the Steelers would win out the rest of the season. I was wrong.
I don't know if they'd win out the rest of the season, but I definitely thought they'd win that game.
If you look at their schedule, it looked like they should have won out there. They still had to play the Bengals, the Browns twice, Ravens, the Dolphins. Not the Dolphins, but it looked really
You think
really
they win
easy.
out over the Ravens?
It was a Week 17 game. They would have had some steam rolling if they won the rest of the games.
Maybe. That's
possible.
possible.
I thought it would have been interesting. Plus, if the Ravens were really good, only 2 losses still, then they just benched their starters.
Yeah, that's that's fair.
But so that brings Pittsburgh back to 5-6, I believe. Not the best right now. They're still in contention. Mason Rudolph was abysmal, going 1 of 4, 1 touchdown, 4 picks, and just a great showing for him. Honestly, no, I'm just kidding. That was
I was
plain
like,
bad.
excuse me.
But he did get some sense knocked into him on how to play football. Ha, pun intended.
Yeah.
Myles Garrett beat that man with a helmet. That was really rough to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's borderline criminal charges right there, according to a lot of people.
The Steelers are 5-5.
5-5.
So at least not necessarily a losing record.
It's not awful, but still.
They are still not out of the hunt.
Yeah. They get an easy one this week.
The
They're
Colts
playing
and
the Bengals.
Texans are both 6-4. So just take that.
That's not too bad then. Plus, they have the tiebreaker over the Colts. But
the Texans do. Wait, who
No,
does?
the
No, the
Steelers beat the
Steelers have it
Colts,
over
yeah.
the Colts, yeah. The Colts and Texans play on Thursday. That will be good.
that will
We'll
be a
talk
very
about
good
that when we
game.
get to
AFC
them.
South games are pretty interesting to watch.
Now we're talking about old games. So
Yeah.
we'll get to that.
But Pittsburgh's got to figure out something. They don't have Juju this week. He's out with a concussion and a knee injury. James Conner's still out. Mason Rudolph's your starting quarterback with James Washington as your number 1 target. Doesn't look good. Does not look good. The only thing that keeps him in is the Steelers' defense is just phenomenal this season. Fitzpatrick, T.J. Watt, Devin Bush, they're all playing out of their mind. And even the corners are playing decent, but that offense has no connection. No chemistry.
Next up was the Jets and the Redskins. I know everyone was into this game. Jets scored 34 points.
Yeah,
That
Jets.
was nice for them. I mean, they looked pretty good, but it's the Redskins.
That's the Redskins. 2
Yeah.
games in a row, though, for the Jets.
Yeah, way
Sam
to go.
Darnold thinks they're going to win out and make the playoffs.
I mean, in the AFC, honestly,
It's
anything
doable,
happened.
but it's not possible.
Yeah, I don't.
They still have to
think
play
so.
the. No, have they played the Patriots twice? I don't remember.
Let's take a look. The Jets. I don't believe so, but I'm gonna check.
Yeah,
They play the Raiders next.
either
It goes
way.
Raiders, Bengals, Dolphins, Ravens, Steelers, Bills. So they don't have to play the Patriots again, but
They have to play the Ravens.
they could beat the
That's-
Bengals and the Dolphins.
I see them finishing with 5 wins. I mean, that's just not a good team.
Yeah, they're not.
Oh, it's just not a good team.
Yeah, don't get your hopes up there.
No, there's nothing they can really do.
Mm-mm.
And that just proves how bad the Redskins are. Dwayne Haskins threw his first touchdown on a screen pass. So he didn't look bad throwing. He still has no receivers, no offensive line. Dude got sacked 6 times. He's our age, and he's getting destroyed by these massive people. Feel kind of bad for him, but it's what happens when you go to this league. So we'll talk about the Cowboys-Lions because that was a pretty close game. Lions lost 27-35 to Cowboys. Dak Prescott had himself a day, sadly going over 400 yards and 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Amari Cooper actually had a quiet day. It was all
Yeah.
Randall
My
Cobb
fantasy
today.
team loved that.
Yeah, I had Randall Cobb, so my fantasy team loved that. But Cowboys hold the lead still in the NFC East.
Yep.
Lions are just dropping way out there.
Yeah, the Lions, I thought for a while they didn't have a chance just because the Packers and the Vikings were so much ahead that I was like, you don't even have a chance for a wild card anymore. But, like, they have, like, way less of a chance than I even thought they had. Like, I thought they were, like, it's worse than I thought.
Yeah, like, they always have, like, they have a good team, honestly. Kenny Galladay, Marvin Jones, their offense is good.
Matt
Their
Stafford's
defense
not bad,
just,
but he was hurt, right?
yeah, poor dude.
Yeah. Yeah,
First time missing games in his career, and
Yeah, you're the backup QB, my friend.
I think if they have him
It's hitting everyone.
I think if they have him in, then they would have won. I think they would have won that game. Cowboys did not look that good.
Yep. Those Cowboys overrated.
But we'll bounce over to the AFC South. Jaguars, Colts. Colts won 33-13 in Jacoby Brissett's return,
That
making
was
some
great
great
to
plays.
see.
Yeah,
Very
love
happy
that.
for the Colts.
Yeah, bounced back up after 2 heartbreaking losses, and now
Yeah, the Dolphins and the Steelers, right?
yeah,
Rough.
yeah, missed both those games. Still no Ty. Marlon Mack is out now, broke his hand, so that takes a little bit. But they have good running backs, and they're making do with their receivers. They just beat the Jaguars, and the Jaguars is a premier defense.
Yeah. Now they play the Texans, which if they beat the Texans again, that would be
I think that's huge. I think that
would be
puts
really
them-
huge
yeah,
because they
that pushes them up front.
they already beat them the one time.
Yeah, I think there's a real possibility that they win this game, and they
I don't
move up
know.
in the
I
AFC
picked-
South.
I mean we'll pick later, but I picked the Texans in my.
I don't know. If
But I still don't think that like sets the winner of the division yet because there's like a lot.
it's still
left to
very
go with
competitive. A lot of
those
games
two.
happen. Nick Foles returned. That was huge. He
Yeah.
played decent. Not a big supporting cast, so he did throw a pick, but he had 2 touchdowns to go with it. Stayed healthy. Stayed in the whole game. Good for him. Hopefully they keep him in and they can get something
I'm
going.
interested to see what the rest of the Jaguars' schedule is looking like. See if they can get any better. I mean, it's the NFC, so I feel like
You mean AFC?
what? Oh yeah,
The
sorry. Okay. Well then, because you're making my point.
Yeah,
In
it's
the
very
AFC,
competitive. We're not competitive.
anything can happen. Like,
Anything.
honestly, you're still in the
That's
race, Jaguars. So they play the Buccaneers, the Chargers, the Raiders, the Falcons, and the Colts. So I mean, there's some games in there I could see them winning.
It's possible.
The Buccaneers are one of those teams that like you don't know which team you're gonna get because sometimes they're like, oh, we're gonna like, we're gonna show up and like crush the Saints, and then there's other times when they're like, oh, we look terrible. So I don't know what to think there. And then the Chargers can be that way too.
Yeah.
And the
The
Raiders are
Chargers
doing
have
well.
looked like
so.
straight doo-doo, though. Phillip Rivers has
Yeah.
thrown 7
So
interceptions.
Jaguars, you could still have a chance to look. I mean, to end at least maybe on a better note. Maybe not go to the playoffs, but
Yeah. Hopefully, maybe they'll figure out something next year. They just got to. I think they're missing the playoffs this year.
yeah.
But maybe next year, if they get a star receiver to go alongside Chark, Nick Foles stays healthy, then, and they get somebody to replace Jalen Ramsey on the outside, then they will be back in contention. But you said Jameis Winston before, so we'll talk about the Tampa Bay and New Orleans game. Jameis
Yes.
Winston has thrown a lot of interceptions this season.
yeah.
2 touchdowns to 4 picks on Sunday. Michael Thomas had himself another day, leading the league in receiving yards. The first and only player in NFL history to have 90 catches, 90-plus receptions throughout his team's first 10 games. What a stat line for him. That is crazy. As a young kid like that putting up those numbers, it's huge.
Yeah, he's proving that he deserves the money he's getting paid for sure.
I think he's going to be the number 1 receiver in the NFL for a very long time. He has been playing phenomenal. Drew Brees loves him, and he just seems uncomfortable, honestly. Nobody can really come in his way. Like, he's just a crazy receiver.
Yep. And the Bucs are just a mess.
Yeah, they have Jameis. I mean, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are actually second and third place for receiving yards behind Michael Thomas.
They're so good, and I'm like, imagine what you'd be like if you had a better
The number
quarterback.
one, like if you have a great QB, what would happen? Honestly,
Yeah, literally.
it's like you're
You're
stuck with
doing what-
Jameis Winston. That's a big bummer for you guys.
Now the next game, this one was a wild one. Maybe, I mean, it could be up there for most wild of the week. But the Broncos and the Vikings.
Oh,
The Broncos, that
That was
was just
upsetting.
soul crushing.
That
my
was
friends.
upsetting. That had to be upsetting. 20-0 at halftime.
I'm sure Packers fans are pretty pissed too.
Oh, they gotta be. Like,
But yeah, the Broncos had a 20-point lead at the half. And, the Vikings are the first team in the NFL's 100 seasons to ever come back and win after a 20-point deficit at the
ridiculous.
half. Like, Broncos, what are you doing? Like, that's got to be I'm sorry you had
like-
to hear that. But
like you take your whole foot off the pedal and just not try anymore. It's just like, oh yeah, take the game. We don't want it that bad anyway. But honestly, ridiculous.
Yeah, but I mean, good for the Vikings. Definitely still in that wild card race. We've talked about this before, but I think we're both with the Vikings and the Seahawks are the ones up there for that
Yeah.
wild card race. I mean, maybe the Niners if the Seahawks come up over them. But either way,
Yeah.
like, the Vikings are there
Either way,
in
there's
that
going to
wild
be an
card,
NFC West team.
and they are keeping their place. They are not budging.
Who knows? Maybe the Vikings pass the Packers somehow. They do
Ooh.
have another divisional game coming up,
That is true.
and I think it'll be a tight race in the NFC North as
Did the
well.
Packers even play the Vikings yet?
I am not sure.
That'd be pretty
Actually,
wild if they played twice at the end of the season. But I really just
that
don't
would
feel
be absolutely
Let's
huge
take
if they
a
have to
sh-
play.
let's
Yeah,
take
they
a
play.
gander.
They've played them before. They play the Packers the Monday before Christmas, actually, 12/23.
Okay.
So
Yeah, the Packers won in September, and then yes, they played day before.
yeah, I
The
think that
Christmas
game will
Eve, I
decide the. I think that'll decide the
Yeah,
NFC
going
North.
forward, I guess they have a bye this next week, and then
Come back and play the Seahawks.
the Seahawks.
Ooh.
So that could be interesting. The Lions probably will win. Chargers probably will win, and then the Packers and the Bears. And the Bears are pretty garbage. So we'll just have to,
Bears
but
are
division
really
games are
garbage.
division games, so I'll give them that. But
Yeah, give them the benefit of the doubt
we'll
there, I
see.
guess. But still, it's the Bears. Mitch Trubisky. Speaking of the Bears, they played the Rams.
yeah, which that was just a terrible game to watch all around.
That's a primetime game too. That was a
Yeah,
Sunday
that was
night
such a
football
waste
game.
of a Sunday night football
You
game.
do this all the time.
I've been really hating the Rams this season. Like they've literally
I
been.
cannot stand the Rams.
There's
Jared Goff
teams-
looks bad.
There's teams like they're just bad, and like you just know they're bad. But the Rams have just been like
That team.
really making me angry this whole season, and I don't.
Like,
not that I can't. I just
you
don't-
have a prolific runner like Todd Gurley, and then you just don't use
They
him.
literally just waste
It's like,
themselves. I mean, the Rams won. Like, so I guess I'll give
I mean,
them
I sure hope
that.
they'd win.
But I feel like this is a game no one won. Like you both just looked
it's like, yeah,
disappointing and disgusting.
Jared, like that can't give Jared Goff any confidence whatsoever. But
Well, I mean, he
a
doesn't
win's a
deserve
win.
it.
Keeps
He's-
them competitive in the West. Keeps them in a playoff position.
I think they're. And this NFC, no. If they're in the
No.
AFC, maybe. No.
Yeah. It-
no way.
It'll be a tough call. But speaking of playoff contention, the Raiders barely actually pulled off a win against the winless Bengals,
Yeah.
17-10.
The Raiders, I don't know how I missed this, but I realized the other day that the Raiders and the Chiefs were tied for number 1. The Raiders play
yeah,
the
they
Chiefs.
have the same record.
Maybe not this coming week, maybe the next
I
one.
think it's next week they play.
But
that
like
is a huge
the
game.
fact that I was like the Raiders could overcome the Chiefs for the top of the division, I was like, what a wild concept.
Yeah, the Raiders.
The Chiefs are pretty not
The Chiefs played the
good.
The Chiefs won 28-10 the first time they played, but the Raiders are actually
Different
rolling
now.
now. The Raiders play the Jets. They have the Chiefs in 2 weeks in the first day of December, but then they have to play the Titans, who are rolling, the Jags, who are decent, the Chargers, and the Broncos. So
So that's not a bad
that's actually not
way to
bad.
end the season. That
No.
those are some games they could definitely
9-7
win.
looks like a real
I was-
possibility.
Chiefs gotta watch their back
Oh, I think so too.
for sure.
I mean, they just
What's the
made
Chiefs
quick work.
schedule? Let's check that.
I think, but Derek Carr has been playing good with the receivers he has. Darren Waller's been really helpful. Josh Jacobs is a favorite for Rookie of the Year, almost at 1,000 yards rushing. Lots of touches, lots of touchdowns, lots of yards. I think if he continues to work like this, he's going to get MVP, or not MVP, Rookie of the Year. And there is a lot of competition for Offensive Rookie of the Year, but he is playing phenomenal.
The Chiefs are on a bye this coming week, but then they play the Raiders, which is tough because divisional.
That
And
is
the
huge,
Raiders are
yeah.
not bad. Then the Patriots.
Oh,
That's rough. And then the Broncos, the Bears, and the Chargers. So they get a little
that's a nice
easier.
little
But
thing.
if they lose to the Raiders and the Patriots, they could be.
They could be out of that. I
Out
mean, the
of
Raiders they had a tough first half of the season. Their only tough game the second half is the Chiefs. So hopefully, I'd really like to see the Raiders win that division. That would actually
That would be very
huge.
cool. I'd love to see that shake up.
That would really mess
for
with
sure.
playoffs. And
Yeah, and I love
Pat
that.
Mahomes not in the playoffs. That makes it really easy for other teams. And by other teams, I mean the Patriots. So, like,
Yeah,
I think Pat Mahomes is the
because
only
they don't
player that
stop
can beat
them that
them.
much in the first place.
Yeah, no, it's rough. It's a rough. life.
So, speaking of, so you were talking about how the Raiders had a tough beginning of the season, then an easier end. So I'm talking about a team that had the complete opposite of that, and that's the Niners.
Yeah,
The
true.
Niners almost lost to the Cardinals again. And then they just have
They
a
tried.
really tough season the rest of it, and I'm ready for them to show their true colors. Like,
I mean,
I'm calling it.
Jimmy G has been looking better every
Yes,
single week.
definitely.
He's definitely coming into his own. It's still a little bit concerning that
The 3-7
their defense was
one.
giving up that.
Cardinals.
Yeah, like if you're a
You had to
prolific
win
team
last
like
minute
that,
over them.
if you're a prolific team like that, you can't almost drop those games. That's
And
not.
and then
not a
who
good
do you
look.
have next week? The Packers,
Ooh,
and then
Oh, that's
the
a Sunday night game.
Ravens, and then the Saints.
I'm still upset they flexed the Eagles out of that, but I understand now. Eagles,
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm definitely the Packers Niners is the game I'm looking forward to. I've been waiting.
yeah,
for
that's a
this
huge
one.
game.
Then the Falcons, the Rams, and the Seahawks. And the Falcons and Rams, Falcons, they've looked pretty good. Like I would not be counting them out. I mean, as I would not count that as an easy win for the Niners instantly, because they would be coming off three other rough games.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just excited to see how that. I'm not going to look that far in the future, but I'm just excited to see how the Niners look against the Packers.
This is their first winning season in, I think 5 years, was it? I think it was 2012, but so 7 years.
Yeah, it's
But-
not just a winning season. It's
That's a
really
really
winning
good season.
Yeah,
They clinched their first winning
But
season, so hopefully they can
I
clinch a
don't
playoff
believe it.
spot.
I'm waiting for the.
Oh, you're waiting for the downfall?
Yes.
I don't know. I'm kind of high on them.
Or at least waiting
I like
for them
their
to
running
prove
game.
to me, because I still don't
Yeah.
believe in them
haven't
fully
had a
because they
huge
have
win.
not played anyone yet.
Then the Seahawks, the first
The
real team they
Panthers
played.
game kind of made me wow. And then I've seen the Panthers aren't that good. So I'm
Yeah.
okay, that's not that great. And so now I'm all right, Niners, if you can beat the Packers and then the Ravens and the Saints, maybe I'll believe in you.
Yeah, let's talk about that Panthers game real quick.
29-3 to the Falcons.
See, I told you those Falcons. They came out of nowhere.
I don't know how.
They were the worst before.
They
Yeah.
upset New Orleans, then they beat the Panthers. I'm not considering that an upset, but their Panthers weren't that
still,
high
you
enough,
think
but
they, yeah.
still.
Mm-hmm.
Christian McCaffrey still had a huge day, leading the league in rushing yards again. Definitely leading the league in scrimmage yards. But
Poor Christian McCaffrey. You lead in rushing yards, and
Yeah.
your team picks up 3 points.
Kyle Allen, 4 picks, no touchdowns, and just an awful
He
all-around
got 1
poopy
point in
performance.
fantasy, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that was
Or 1.3 maybe.
that was a rough game. He threw a good ball, but he looked like Jameis Winston. Honestly, it's got to be an NFC South thing. Matt Ryan threw a bunch of good passes. Julio Jones is great still. Julio Jones is a guy who hasn't been talked about this season. They're like, oh yeah, he's kind of washed. That's no, he's not. They were just having a rough season. Nobody's talking about Julio. He still plays good football. It's just when you're playing from behind a lot and you're getting double covered, there's not a lot of chances that you get to show how good you actually are at football.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a real question now if Kyle Allen is still going to be the starter in Carolina. They still have Cam Newton, but there's been a lot of rumors about trading him.
I've heard a lot of mixed things from
Mm-hmm.
Panthers fans.
Yeah.
And it used to be more mixed when they were doing better, but now it's all I can't believe you ever said that it wasn't Cam. And I was like, really? Because I remember you 2 weeks ago being like, oh, Kyle.
They're like, Kyle's the future. And then he does that. They're like, oh, no, he's not.
Yeah. So.
I mean, it's his first season. Falcons are apparently coming in their own. They were a good defense, and now they're showing again why they're a good defense.
One thing's the Panthers definitely have some decisions to make. That is for sure.
Yeah, I'd say that definitely. Last 1 o'clock game we'll talk about is the Bills-Dolphins. Bills pull off the win there. Josh Allen, another very, very strong
He was
performance.
AFC Offensive Player of the Week. I
Yes,
believe
he was.
I saw.
I think he was, yeah. But he is very good at football, apparently.
I'm
Him
excited
and Lamar
about these
Jackson.
Bills.
They were the last 2 QBs taken in the first round, yet they're the best 2 QBs from that draft this year. And I do like Josh Allen. He's an athlete. People look at him, they're like, oh, he's not. He He can run the football. He can throw the football 80-plus yards downfield. Dude's got an arm. I think it was John Brown, not Jerron Brown, but John Brown had a great game, 2 touchdowns, and the Bills are just rolling. They're really fighting over there in the AFC, making a playoff push still. But I still don't see them passing the Patriots. It's just the Patriots.
Yeah, but they could be a wild card spot.
I wouldn't mind that. I like the Bills. They're
I
a
know,
young team. Good.
At the beginning of the season, I was pretty high on them, and I remember I picked them to beat the Patriots early in the season.
It's close.
It was a bold. I was like, I'm going for it, and it was a close game. They could have done it. So I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, maybe the second time
Go
around they'll
Bills.
get them. I'm hoping they do. So that brings us to
I was about to say you
Yeah.
almost you said there was one more game, and I was like, you're missing one.
the game of the week. The Eagles and Patriots.
Mm.
The quote unquote game of the week.
I was gonna say who called it that.
What a Eagles fans everywhere, including me and Kelly, were very disappointed, to say the
Yeah.
least.
All right, so if I wasn't like, oh, we're definitely gonna beat the Patriots. Like if you listen to the last podcast, I was like, I don't know, and I I talked about it, and I thought the Patriots could very well win, and I was not I was not mad about that. I was like, it is what it is.
Mm.
But then the Eagles come in here. Well, let's start to say the Patriots looked like garbage.
Their offense. did
They
not
looked
look
like
good.
garbage.
That made the Eagles defense
And
look
then
really good.
First half, the Eagles were looking
Moving. Playing
good,
great
and
football.
I mean, Patriots fans were worried, and I was just and then they just second half just didn't show up. So I don't. That wasn't fun.
Not a single receiver on the Eagles could get open except for Zach Ertz. And when Nelson Aguilar did get open, he dropped it. Or
Patriots
Carson missed him.
Defense.
It was cold,
isn't
I'll give him
down.
that. The weather was rough. There was wind, there was cold, so it's a difficult ball to throw, but Carson missed a lot of open receivers.
And a lot of open receivers missed a lot of balls.
To say the least. Nelson Aguilar, you tried, Eagles. You tried experimenting with him. Gave him a lot of chances. Everyone gave him a lot of chances, and then it's just time for him to not play anymore, I think. Time for him to ride the pine for the rest of the year. You benched him 2 or 3 years ago, and he came back stronger than ever. Bench him again. Make him understand that this is a team, and you have to learn how to play football if you want to be a football player, because he just cannot adjust to the ball on a deep route, and he just doesn't look like he tries that hard.
I think the best phrase to summarize this game is that the Patriots adjusted and the Eagles didn't.
That's more or less what happened.
Yeah, that is just in a nutshell. And I definitely, with the Eagles, I think it definitely comes down to it was everyone's fault.
Yeah.
Play calling, everything.
There was no run
You definitely
anymore.
can't just say it was Wentz. You definitely can't just say it was Aguilar. It was an everyone.
Yeah, they just stopped
deal.
running the ball for some reason.
Aguilar, I remember a couple years ago when he was still number 17. I hated his guts.
Still hate his guts.
I hated his guts with all my might. I wanted him gone. And then they were all I remember the off season when he became number 13. They were like, oh no, Nelson Aguilar is better. He's all good now. And then I'm like, I will believe it when I see it. And then he actually did do well. And he came up big in the Super Bowl and everything. And now here we are again. So
It's just really frustrating. Jordan Matthews, he stayed out there for I think it was 64 snaps, while J.J. Arcega-White was only out there for 19. Matthews was signed last week. Arcega-White was drafted this past year. He's been with the team for since the summer, yet he was only played in 19 snaps. Now, yes, he has some drop problems. Yes, he's a rookie, but
Still, you got to give him a chance. I don't blame it on him. I blame it more on the coaching staff not letting him play. It's not his skill set. They're just not letting him out there.
yeah,
But if you draft a guy, you have to see what he's like.
I think the Eagles are having that issue that there's some players that they're just not trying out.
Yeah,
for.
that's a real bummer. Boston Scott finally got his chance and he fumbled,
he
but they kept him in. They kept using him.
Yeah,
So that was
'cause
smart. But then
I
the
mean,
receivers coach, they just didn't
else
let
are you
anybody
doing?
play.
it was a real bummer. Jordan Matthews was targeted a lot. Stephon Gilmore just would not let him catch the ball. They started double covering Zach Ertz, so Carson lost his number one receiver. He stopped throwing it to Dallas Goedert. The offense just did not. The offensive play calling did not adjust to the stellar Patriots defense. Bill Belichick definitely outcoached Doug Peterson this time around, and that was a rough one. That was a rough one.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Mills, though, he played phenomenal. The whole defense played phenomenal.
Yeah.
I'm giving definitely a shout out to Mills. Ever since he came back, he's been a true number one corner.
Yeah. It looked more like the Eagles' defense.
Yeah,
Like
it did.
one that I'm used to.
They stopped the run. They would not let Brady march down the field on him and score. They held him to 3 field goals in the first half. The only touchdown coming in the second half, or was it? The second half when Julian Edelman threw a touchdown. But trick plays will do that to you. I'm very, very happy with what I saw from Philly's defense. Very
Please
disappointed.
keep it up against the Seahawks.
Yes, keep doing
Please,
that. Just
God.
figure out something on offense because
Yeah.
it's ugly.
And
It is not good. Maybe Alshon will be back, but even without,
I'd like to not feel sick watching you play. That would be appreciated.
It's a real bummer. But shout out to the Patriots. Heck of a coaching job by Belichick. But their offense didn't look good again. So maybe something downfalls there.
Then the Chiefs played the Chargers on Monday night.
Did we talk about it? Yeah.
Did
No, we
we?
didn't talk about
I think we
that.
talked about the Chiefs individually and the Chargers individually.
Yeah.
Basically, just to say this game was the Chargers didn't look good and the
Phillip
Chiefs
Rivers,
did.
retire time. He did. Oh boy, lots of picks. I saw.
He has more kids than he has thrown interceptions in the past 2 weeks. Now, to be fair, he has 8 kids. In the past 2 weeks, he's thrown 7 interceptions. And that's just brutal. It's honestly time for him to go and just draft somebody new. He's showed his age way too much. He has a outstanding offense, like great receivers in Mike Williams, Keenan Allen. They have Melvin Gordon and Austin Eckler, so there's no reason their offense should be sucking this bad. Hunter Henry, I forgot about him. Stellar tight end. And their defense is decent. I think they're poorly coached. Very poorly coached. Very poor QB play. We can talk about do playoff race because that is a thing still. Late in the season. So, of course, you have the Patriots, you have the Ravens, you have right now the Texans are ahead of the Colts.
So AFC East is the Patriots.
Mm-hmm. North is the Ravens.
AFC North is the Ravens.
West is the Chiefs still, I believe, and then
The
South
Chiefs
is the Texans.
are 7-4. The Raiders are 6.
Yeah, so those are the top 4 right now. I believe the Ravens will stay there. I believe the Patriots will stay there. I'd like to see the Raiders actually take over in the West and kick the Chiefs out. But that just guarantees the Chiefs a wild card spot. Then the South, I like the Colts too much to say Deshaun Watson. Like Deshaun Watson just got beat by Lamar Jackson really bad, 41-7. Only touchdown coming on a Carlos Hyde run. I don't even you have DeAndre Hopkins. I don't know how you're not throwing it to him and just scoring. I mean, there was a very bad pass interference non-call that was challenged and not overturned.
These are both teams.
So these are both teams, the Colts and the Texans are both teams that you can't trust because they'll both have the times that they'll look fantastic and then the next game they'll look like garbage. So I'm excited to see how this goes, especially now that Jacoby Brissett is back. It's very different because I thought the Colts were done for a little
I did think they lost
second
it.
there, but now they're back again. And I just think this game is going to be competitive, and
I hope so.
I'm really excited for
It's
it.
going to be an exciting Thursday night game, actually.
This is a divisional matchup if there
Yeah.
ever was one, because this is really for
This is
the division.
definitely for the division. Their schedules aren't difficult the rest of the season.
So
They-
it's going to be hard to come back if you're
Yeah.
the team that lost, especially if you're the Texans.
Yeah, if you're the Texans, you get 2-0'd by the other division leader, then really doesn't look good for you. But either way, I want to say either way, if the Colts and Texans both finish the season strong, they're both going to make a playoff spot. But that's just because the AFC. I like the Raiders, and I like the Texans in the AFC, honestly, to come in and make a but then there's the Bills. That's a really tough wild card spot.
Mhm.
I do think I would give the Bills a spot over the Raiders,
Ooh.
but that's a tough call too because the Texans can win out. I think the Raiders can win 3 more games, finish 9-7 or 8-8. But 9-7 would definitely give an AFC team a playoff spot at this point in the season. Over in the NFC, it's going to take a lot more than that. The Cowboys are leading the East. The North, you have the Packers with the Vikings trailing right behind. The West, you still have the 49ers, but the Seahawks are nipping at their heels. And then the South, you have the Saints have kind of solidified the South at this point. The rest of the NFC South is just not good. Not good at all.
They used to always be what I would say would be one of the more competitive
Like,
ones,
it
if
was a
not most
competitive one.
competitive, and now it's not at all. So, yes, Saints for sure there. I think the Packers in the North. And then the West is the Niners now. But, like, I still
think the Seahawks
think the Seahawks can do it.
Russell
But
Wilson's
we've said
good.
this before, and I'm just going to repeat it, that the Niners and Seahawks will both be in the playoffs. It just depends on who is the leader.
We just
and
have
who is
no
the wild
idea
card.
which one goes where.
And that's fine. And then we have the NFC East, which is the worst division
Yeah,
of all divisions.
arguably. A lot of people thought it was the Eagles to have this year,
It
but
could
then
still be the Eagles.
it really
I'm not-
could. Like,
I mean,
10-6
I'm not saying
and
how much I believe
11-5.
in that, but it's very much possible.
Like, they could go 10-6 or 11-5. They have to play the Redskins twice, or the Redskins once, the Giants twice, the Dolphins.
I feel like 9-7 is their best case scenario. Personally,
What are they? 5-6 right now? Yeah.
5-5.
Yeah.
So not necessarily
It's-
losing yet. So okay, they
I
play
said 11-5.
the
yeah,
Seahawks next week.
Then they play the Dolphins.
Dolphins will be nice. Giants could be. They play the Giants twice, and I think that like they definitely at least win one of them.
Yeah, one of them could be an upset alert.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go ahead and be like probably
gonna
this
give the
first
Eagles
one
2 of them.
at Lincoln Financial
Yeah.
should be a good. So then you have that one. Something that's helping out the Eagles is the Cowboys play in New England this week. But if they lose to the Seahawks, that won't really help. But it'd still be nice. But
I would love to see the Cowboys just blow their season, and the Eagles somehow sneak in at like 9-7.
yeah, the
That would
Cowboys
be-
and Eagles have similar. They have similar end of the season schedules because it's a lot of games that you could see going either way.
It's a lot of divisional games, I think.
Yeah, that too.
Like the
So
Eagles have not had a lot of divisional games. They've
Eagles
only
play
had-
Cowboys again. The last
Eagles
four
only-
games of the last 4 games of their season are Giants, Redskins, Cowboys, Giants.
Yeah, they've only played
The
2 divisional games so far,
I know they play like
which is great because the Cowboys have already played the Giants twice. They played the Redskins and us. So
the Cowboys play after they play at New England. They play the Bills, the Bears, the Rams, then the Eagles and the Redskins. So I just think the Bills, the Bears, and the Rams are they could go either way. I can see that because those are
I think the Bills win. I do.
Yeah,
I think the Bills can beat them.
I believe in them.
The Rams, I think Jared Goff will step into his own because the Cowboys' defense isn't that good. We just saw him get sliced up from the Detroit Lions, and I think the Rams are better than that. But
Yeah, the Bears
the only
also not great, but like you never know.
maybe something will happen where they can step up.
So-
Khalil Mack will just get to him a lot, but that offensive line for the Cowboys.
Then
is
by the
real
time
deal.
the Eagles and Cowboys play again right before Christmas, it should be a little bit of a different landscape because they'll have a couple more games on their belt. So we'll see. Because the last Cowboys Eagles game was terrible, so we'll see.
But so it's got to be Vikings in one playoff spot.
yes,
I think the Packers win the division,
Mm-hmm.
and I think the Vikings get that playoff spot, and then, like we said,
Seahawks are
Seahawks or Niners.
Yeah, I've
That's-
said the Eagles, and I guess I'll put the Cowboys in there too. Neither of those teams are making it to the playoffs
If you don't win
unless
your
they win
division,
the
yeah.
division.
if you don't win your division, if you're not, if you're the NFC East, if you don't win, then you're out.
Yeah, the funny thing about the wild card is you could see a team like the Vikings or the Seahawks, maybe even the Niners,
Mhm.
that are dominant going in to either Dallas or
Mhm.
Philly and playing one of those subpar teams, and it's just kind of.
Beating on
I
them.
always find that ironic because it's like they're.
I mean, the
definitely
Vikings
better
already
ones
beat-
there.
Vikings already beat both the Eagles and the Cowboys,
Yeah.
but the Eagles beat the Packers. That was surprising. Very surprising, but
Yeah,
hey, we'll take it.
I love that. Where just that.
I mean, so do the
blemish on
Chargers.
their home resume.
Yeah, but so I'm going to talk about best running back in the NFL right now
Ooh.
because like Saquon held that title last year.
Yeah, poor guy.
Yeah, I mean, when you play for the Giants, not a lot can happen.
He's kind of stuck there.
Yeah, yeah. But Christian McCaffrey, Aaron Jones, Nick Chubb, there's Dalvin Cook,
Mm-hmm.
and I think Ezekiel Elliott are like the top running backs right now in rushing yards. And I think they all definitely belong there. The
Yep.
question is which one's the best, though. I love Christian McCaffrey, his scrimmage yards, being able to catch out of the backfield, still put up a big day regardless of a loss.
Yeah, I think that's what sets Christian McCaffrey apart is what he does with what he has to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then with Dalvin Cook, he's just been having another outstanding season. He's putting
Yeah.
up numbers that are actually better than Adrian Peterson's his not rookie, his MVP season.
Yeah, he's like the first person not named Adrian Peterson to
Yeah,
be doing
to
anything
do this for the Vikings.
like he's been doing.
So I think the toss-up is between them. Aaron Jones is leading the league in touchdown runs.
Mm-hmm.
Zeke Elliott's doing what he does over in Dallas. While he may be an awful person off the field,
Yeah,
heck of a football player. And,
we know how the Cowboys like those.
yeah, those quote-unquote criminals. But Dalvin Cook and Chris McCaffrey, I think, are the two best runners currently. Nick Chubb has 1,000 yards, which is interesting because the Browns just have sucked so far. So him being able to put up those stats with a subpar offense has been pretty good. I mean, I guess if Baker's has thrown 15 picks, then you're just going to keep feeding him the rock, try to get him yards. He did have a lot of fumble problems earlier in the season, but he kind of overcame that. And all these guys are really young. I think the oldest is Ezekiel Elliott, and he's like 24. So they can continue to produce like this for a long time coming. They're not even in their prime yet. So I'd love to.
It'll be those guys for a while, and then
It'll be scary to see what happens when they come into their
will
prime.
come back eventually.
Yeah,
Maybe.
like don't get us wrong. We're not saying Saquon's a bad running back
Absolutely
at all.
not. No,
at all.
he just has a bad
Crazy
quarterback
good.
and a
Yeah.
bad team.
He is just on a awful team, very awful. Feel really bad for him. Like,
Yeah, what
plus
was
he's
it?
battling some injuries
Was it
right
that-
now.
What game was that? Like the Giants, he had like no yards.
The Jets
Yeah.
game. He had 13 runs for 1 yard.
You know his dad's a huge Jets fan.
Oh,
Like he has like a Jets tattoo.
yeah,
Yeah.
that
So-
had to be a rough text message after the game.
Yeah, I bet he was there. I'm sure.
Oh,
You
guaranteed.
get him tickets.
But like Saquon will have it back next. He's battling some injuries, like I said. He'll come back and be better than ever. But right now it's gonna be down in Carolina where Christian McCaffrey's the best running back.
Yeah, but will he be MVP? Probably not.
We can talk about that right now.
Quarterback. Yeah, I've
It's-
seen some
oh,
Panthers
so
fans on
disappointing.
Twitter like complaining about how it's a quarterback and award, and I was like, well, it is what it is.
Yeah,
It's
like
especially because the Panthers are garbage. Like, I'm sorry. That doesn't mean
then,
Christian
like-
McCaffrey isn't great, but
I still think Russell Wilson deserves that award over Lamar Jackson.
Ooh,
Russell
okay.
Wilson has had better passing stats than Lamar Jackson.
Has
Actually,
Russell Wilson been MVP before?
no, he's not.
Is that
no, He's
true?
not. Yeah.
Who was MVP when they won the Super Bowl?
I believed
take
it
it.
was when they won the Super Bowl. I think it was Peyton. I think Peyton threw the 55 touchdown passes that season.
Yeah, because wasn't it a Seahawks Broncos Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think it was Peyton Manning that
Okay,
year.
so that was 2014. So is that the 2013 MVP or?
I think we'll just go with 2014 MVP.
Just because I can never tell because once it gets
Yeah,
to the Super Bowl,
it's
it's
always
like
so
it's
confusing.
February.
Yeah, but I do think it was Peyton Manning. I think that was the season he threw his 55 touchdown passes. Was that? I don't remember, honestly. It was so long ago.
Well, this is Aaron Rodgers was the 2014 NFL MVP,
that makes sense. All right.
but is that
yeah,
the right one or is it
I have no idea.
2013? I don't know.
I know the season that season when the Ravens or not Ravens Seahawks went, their defense was the thing that got them there. Russell
Peyton
Wilson.
Manning was the 2013 one, so I'm assuming that is what you're talking about. Like
Yeah,
I still
think so.
because
It's really difficult to
Yeah.
call. I think the 2013 MVP was Peyton Manning. They went to the playoff. They went to the Super Bowl and lost
to the Seahawks.
to the Seahawks very
So
badly.
Russell Wilson has never been an MVP. Very interesting.
I think he should be. Like he's still playing
Yeah,
great football. He's only
just
got
been
2
so
picks on the season.
consistently good. Russell
But
Wilson's
Lamar
really
has
what
the
you
rushing
want.
stats over.
That's true.
Yeah.
But one thing I'd like to say is, which not that this matters, but like Lamar Jackson has more time. I don't know. Like I guess Russell Wilson also has time, but
I mean,
it's like
Russell Wilson's 30.
he's been like more. He's been good for longer, so I feel like I'd give it to Russell maybe. Over
Yeah.
that. But I like
There's-
Lamar a lot.
Yeah, Russell's got the better stats.
I guess those come down
but-
to between those two. I definitely think it's between those two, but I think
Mhm.
it comes down to how the rest of the season goes. Like just like little things will.
Do you see anybody
don't
sneaking
know.
in there and just trying to like fight him for it?
I don't
I
know.
don't really.
Because some of the other people on that list are just people that are always there, like Aaron Rodgers. But it's
yeah,
like, it's like Aaron Rodgers. You've just been Aaron Rodgers.
it's like Aaron Rodgers.
Well, did you do
won. Leave
anything
him alone.
special? You're just being you. And then
It's like you're not
is
MVP
Brady even up
caliber.
there? Like I hope not.
No, he doesn't have the stats for it.
Yeah, like I don't know who else. Pat Mahomes, no.
No, if he would win after sitting out 3 games, I'd be pretty upset about that.
I don't. Yeah, I just don't think. Even if he did and he was up there in the running, I don't think he'd beat either of those guys. I think it really comes down to Russell
All right.
and Lamar.
With non QBs,
Ooh.
who do you think actually stands a chance for MVP?
Well, Christian McCaffrey probably because he's
I like
been talked
McCaffrey. Yeah.
about the most.
McCaffrey,
Then there's
Michael
always-
Thomas.
There's
Michael
always
Thomas is crazy.
yes, that would be a good choice.
That
I
would-
think that would be.
I wouldn't. No receivers ever won MVP award,
They should
which
just
is
separate-
ridiculous.
Do they have? I can't think off the top of my head, but like, do they have a best receiver award? Because
I think you kind of just get like
MVP
the
a little
title,
bit.
like yeah, you're the best receiver. I think it's when you go All Pro is like whenever you're considered the best receiver.
Yeah, I get that. I just wish that there was more award options
like,
because
they
everyone
should
gets
actually
pissed at the
give
MVP
you a
as the
trophy.
quarterback. Yeah,
It's like, hey, good job. You're never gonna win MVP, but you're the best receiver in the NFL currently. I think that's what the All Pro award is like. First team All Pro is like, hey, you're the best receiver at your position. But Christian McCaffrey, Michael Thomas, I think those are 2 guys that definitely.
yeah. Then you could always throw in like I know they like love not as much this year, but there's always like the really good defender that they like will bring up. Like
I heard T.J. Watt was actually the number 1
oh.
non like offensive MVP.
Yeah, something like that. Like J.J. Watt was
Yeah.
almost MVP
He had like 3 touchdowns
when
that
Aaron
season.
Rodgers beat him out. But I'm just saying, like
I
he's
would
a
love to see
defender.
J.J. Watt.
He's a defender that was.
Yeah, T.J. Watt's been having a heck of a season. 9.5 or 10 sacks. He's 3rd in the NFL, but he's playing great, honestly great football, and he's not being talked about a lot. Like he's still
No.
like nobody's
not
like,
fair.
oh, they're not. He's not ranking. I just used a hand gesture to tell you everybody where he is. Nobody can see me right now except for Kelly. So
If you could see, his hand was up.
my hand was way up there. So T.J. Watt's like not being talked about with the top linemen in the NFL, or
Which
like the
is
top
not fair.
linebackers. It's not fair.
No,
But
not at all.
I want to talk about defensive rookie of the year, like
Ooh.
Josh Allen, Nick Bosa.
Nick Bosa, maybe I'd say. Oh,
Josh Allen's leading the league in
is he?
leading the rookies in sacks this year.
Well, then I guess it's gotta be him. I just feel like Nick Bosa's the one
It's
that
a
I'm
tough
always
one.
hearing about.
Yeah, like Nick Bosa, like both are absolutely incredible defenders.
I guess it depends on who leads at the end.
Yeah, because I mean, who else is a defensive rookie that's actually being talked about or is starting?
I don't know. I could not name them.
Quinnen Williams just started playing for the Jets. Cleveland Farrell, I don't even know if he's playing in Oakland right now or if he's
Do the
injured.
Jaguars play the Niners at all?
I'm not sure actually.
Because I would love to see Josh Allen.
Josh
No,
Allen
not
versus
the
Nick Bosa.
not the Niners. I'd love to see that, but I'd also love to see the Jaguars play the Bills, and see Josh Allen sack
Josh
Allen.
Josh Allen.
That's a
against Josh
dream.
Allen.
But yes, I'd also like to see the two defensive
Stellar
rookies
defensive linemen.
take on each other. Jaguars, Bills.
Yeah, offensive rookie's a real question mark too. Like
No.
DK has the most catches and touchdowns of rookie receivers. Josh Jacobs is playing phenomenal in Oakland right now.
Mm-hmm.
Kyler Murray is actually stepping into his own. He's playing really good football.
Yeah, he holds his own against the Niners. Yeah.
Good mobile threat as well. Like he's actually putting up big rushing yards along with his passing
Which is
touchdowns.
more that can be said for a lot of the rookies this
Yeah.
season. So
It's been quiet, kind of quiet for rookies. Like,
yeah,
nothing that
rookie
really
quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Because it's been like we talked like the year of the backup QB. Most of these backups aren't rookies.
Yeah, like
They're guys that like haven't had their chance yet.
Daniel Jones only needs, I think he has 15 touchdowns. The rookie record for touchdown passes in a season is 27, held by Baker Mayfield. So he only needs 13 over the next 6 games to break that record.
That's not even. Yeah, that's
not a
not that
lot, no.
hard. Well, go
We
Daniel
say that's
Jones.
not that hard, but
I hope the best for you. Just got 13. That's
yeah,
6 games. Like you just need like 2 a game.
I feel like if he does that though, they're just going to give him Rookie of the Year, and I really don't think he deserves that. Like
No,
not
it should
a
definitely be
chance.
one of the. It's probably not a quarterback.
No, I hope it's Jacobs. I like a lot what he's doing. Miles Sanders was a favorite, but he's not starting in Philadelphia, so
He's done more for Philly than I
his
expected.
scrimmage yards have been really good, but he's done a lot, but he's not. It's not Rookie of the Year
not
material.
rookie of the year for sure.
What else we got? I'm really. Oh, next week's games.
Okay,
I
well,
wouldn't even talk
I've
about
got
that.
them. Let's pull it up.
I didn't even think of that.
All right, kicking off with the Colts and Texans on Thursday Night Football. Who do we have winning that game, Evan?
Colts? Question mark.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm going with it.
I'm going Texans, and
Ooh.
I've been a Colts fan,
Yeah,
but
you
I
like-
just had to go Texans.
Like I'm a big Colts guy right now.
Yeah,
Jacoby
I really am
Brissett's
too.
great.
But I would definitely not be disappointed either way. But just
Without Ty, it makes it questionable. Without Ty, it definitely makes it a little harder. And Marlon Mack now,
Mm-hmm.
but I think Frank Reich's a good enough coach to pull off that win.
All right, Dolphins Browns. This
Um,
is a big one.
this is a big one. I'm going Browns. They got 2 wins in a row now, but the Dolphins actually.
The Dolphins had 2 wins in a
Yeah.
row. The Dolphins were rolling.
Oh, that's a tough one now.
They gave up Joe Burrow.
I'll go with the Browns. I think they're heating up. Not heating up, but I think they're getting better.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Browns too.
There's more chemistry now between Odell and Baker, I think.
Yeah. Will they get many more wins after that? I don't know. But
I don't
can
know, they
they
lost
beat?
Myles Garrett for the
But
rest
can
of the
they
season.
beat the the Dolphins? Yes.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
But they lost Myles Garrett, so that's going to hurt a little
Here's
bit.
another big matchup. We got the Lions and the Redskins.
Lions. The Redskins are just awful.
Yeah, I'm going
The
Lions.
Redskins are so
There's
bad.
probably not any team like maybe the Bengals, but I was gonna say like there's really not any team that I'd pick over.
Yeah, the Redskins
That I'd pick
are
the
so
Redskins
bad.
over right now.
Like, they're so
Maybe
bad.
I honestly might pick I might pick the Bengals over them. But the difference is
know.
I'm not
That's
sure
tough.
anymore.
That's a
I'm not
tough
sure
one.
anymore if the Bengals are losing on purpose or not. So.
I think they got to be. Like, AJ
Oh, I mean,
Green.
at
AJ
this
Green
point, you
doesn't even wanna
should. Like,
play.
go ahead.
AJ Green doesn't
Get
even
your
want to play for
quarterback.
him.
All right. Raiders, Jets.
Go Raiders. I
Yep,
like them there.
for sure.
Jets are
I can
another
see the
team
Jets
like that.
being like, not looking
I can see them putting up
completely
a fight.
tragic, but
Yeah.
Raiders win.
Like, they're not going to get blown
Okay,
out.
this one should be like neither of these teams are great, but I feel like this might be competitive. But the Giants, Bears.
Ooh. Last
good.
time they played, the Giants somehow managed to win that game.
Did
Last
they
year.
play? Oh, last. Okay.
Yeah, last year.
I think I was like they played.
Um, I'll give the Bears this one
Ooh.
because I think Khalil Mack just shuts down that whole the Giants O-line looked absolutely trash last week
Isn't
or 2 weeks
Mitch
ago when they played.
Trubisky up in the air? Not that it matters. Not that he's really a game
Yeah.
changer. But I'm just wondering.
Not at all.
Yeah,
But
I think I saw
the
something about
defense
his
is the
hip.
game changer.
Yeah, that is true. I don't know what I want to pick here.
It's a tough one. I like Khalil Mack just destroying that right tackle or left tackle.
Yeah.
Plus, there's no real defense on the Giants.
Yeah.
There's apparently no real offense. Darius
It's
Slayton,
funny, and
though,
both of these teams are teams that like haven't won
a lot of games.
in a bit. So I want to give like part of me was like, oh well, the Giants haven't won, so like they'll get this one. But then the Bears are kind of in the same boat. So I don't know. Like
It's a tough call.
I think that's probably gonna be like I think it's gonna be kind of competitive, but kind of low scoring. Like it's probably gonna be like a 10-17 or something.
Oh, that'd be brutal to watch. Who you going with though?
I'm gonna go with what you said. I'm gonna go Bears.
That's fair.
All right, Panthers Saints. So we're getting to like some better matchups,
Yeah, that's a better
but
divisional game. There.
I still think that's clearly the Saints.
I don't know. It's a divisional game. Yeah, I guess you have to go Saints.
You're right. Like it can never be clear when it's divisional,
yeah.
but the Saints are so good, and I know they like lost to the Falcons, but I don't see that happening again.
Yeah, but Kyle Allen played really bad against the Falcons, and the Saints defense is just so much higher than them.
Yeah,
Yeah, like,
exactly.
So it's gonna be brutal for Kyle Allen again. If he throws another 4 picks, then
Yeah. The Saints play the Falcons again on Thanksgiving.
yeah, and they definitely
So
need
that
to
will
win
be
that game.
interesting.
That'll need
but-
to be a huge game.
Then we have the Seahawks, Eagles.
All my biases want me to choose the Eagles, but I'm going to have to avoid my biases there because the Saints are just a great not the Saints, the Seahawks are a great football team,
Yeah.
and Russell Wilson's
And
gonna,
they just have the Eagles have a history of not being able to handle the Seahawks. Like last time they
Yeah,
played was December 3rd in I think that actually was in Seattle.
that was in
But
Seattle, yeah.
they ruined the Eagles' one-loss season. So, but I actually picked this game already at another time, and I went Eagles just because with the Patriots and the Packers, I picked them over that, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to try to give the Eagles the benefit of the doubt here, and I'll just take the L if so. So I was like, I'm just going to go for it. All right, Buccaneers at Falcons.
Falcons. Jameis Winston's going to
Yeah, I'm going
so
Falcons
many picks.
too. All right, Broncos, Bills. This one should be better because the Broncos have looked a little better, but I just really like the Bills.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Bills. The Broncos have looked better offensively, but the Bills are just rolling. Josh Allen's a great young quarterback, and I think they're just going to win that game.
Steelers, Bengals.
Steelers.
Yep.
Anybody over the Bengals.
Jaguars, Titans.
Ooh, Nick Foles versus Ryan Tannehill. That's actually not an easy game to pick. Like Ryan Tannehill's been playing great for the Titans, so I'm actually gonna give it to the Titans there. Tannehill's gonna take over. Derrick Henry is a great running back. I like the Titans there. I do like the Titans
Okay,
there.
well, I'm gonna just change it up, and I'm gonna go Jags. Just because.
Interesting. Yeah.
Patriots, Cowboys. Patriots.
Everybody
Mostly
in
because
America
the
wants
Patriots
Cowboys to lose.
lost to the Ravens. And then they came and played the Eagles and looked pretty garbage. We know these Patriots, they're not going to come again
Yeah,
and
like,
look bad and lose again. And definitely not in Foxborough.
Yeah,
Like, they're
Belichick-
about to come
oof.
back and be the Patriots we've seen the rest of the season. I'm just saying it. And then the Cowboys are going to run home crying.
Yeah, and Kill
They're
Harry
wrong.
actually played pretty good football. Like when he was targeted, he made the most out of it. So I think once he gets back into his own, gets a connection with Tom Brady, then they're gonna they're just gonna let him loose. Julian Edelman's gonna continue to play great
Now,
football.
The big one,
Sunday night.
Packers and 49ers.
Ooh, that's a really, really, really tough one.
5, 4,
Oh God,
3, 2.
Packers.
I'm going Packers as well.
I think you got to go Packers. This is
Yeah.
last time the 49ers played real competition. They
No, you will
lost.
not be able to handle.
But then last time the Packers
That.
played, they lost to the Chargers. So like,
Yeah, but then I think that you're just gonna come back hotter.
yeah.
You know,
But still, it's a
everyone
tough one.
has their slips.
Yeah, true. Very true.
You know, so I'm
got
going Packers
Aaron
here.
Rodgers.
And
Is
then
that
Ravens.
at Lambeau?
Rams. Yeah, I know it's in Santa
in-
Clara.
Ooh, that's a tough. All right, that's a tough one. I'll still go Packers though.
Ravens, Rams. I think it's safe to say we're gonna go Ravens here.
Yeah.
If anyone's
Ooh.
gonna upset the Ravens, it's not gonna be the Rams. Like, I'm
I don't
just
know.
throw that out
Aaron
here.
Aaron Donald against Lamar Jackson.
Mm-mm.
I think Donald will keep him from moving.
you can
and
think
then-
what you want, but I'm going Ravens.
I'm going Rams there. I think Aaron Donald steps up and stops Lamar.
Well, let's wait and see. All right.
All right, we'll hit
Well-
a 2-minute warning real quick. It's gonna be the quickest 2-minute warning ever because
Like
they
a
they are
1 minute
shutting
one?
off lights here. So, all right, we're gonna start with
You set a timer? All right. It's 9:49.
at 9:49. We're gonna try to do this the best we can. So, coaches that should be fired are going to be
Adam Gase.
in a heartbeat. Adam Gase, like he had a lot
He's
of.
number one. There's other options, but like he isn't absolutely not.
Oh, he's so bad.
But I think they're doing the right thing,
Mm.
not instantly. I was just telling someone this, but instantly firing him this season. Because it's like at this point, like
halfway
what do
through
you
next season, if they're this bad, then yes.
like? No, I just mean like. So some people at this point they're like, oh, let's just shove him out, like
Yeah.
But I like the Redskins did that, and it's like with them, it's like what do you have to lose? Like just keep him now, like and
It's
it's
like,
like
it's already
just
so
take
late
your
in the
time to
season.
find a better head coach over the off season.
Yeah, then like
Yeah.
if you're the Bengals, you keep your coach because you know you're tanking.
Yes.
You can't blame it on him. You keep
Definitely
Brian
not.
Flores down
Please
in
do not change
Miami
quarterbacks.
also. Like these coaches you hired when you know your team's not going to be good.
No, those
I feel
teams
like
I
you
think
have
are
to
just
keep 'em.
tanking, but I think the Jets are definitely not. Like I think the
Like,
Jets
they
have
had
the talent.
they had
Yeah.
so much hope for this season.
I really believed in them too. Yeah.
They're like
Adam
Le'Veon
Gase
Bell,
number
like,
one, and then on that note, we're gonna go with the Redskins and say that they need to fire everyone.
Yes,
they
their
just
whole
need to be
coaching
bought
staff,
by an entirely new ownership.
They need to be out. Honestly.
I think the Redskins are a team that are just not gonna get any better if they don't make someone needs to sell this team.
like you said, just sell your team.
They need to change names. Like the Redskins just need a whole
Literally
change.
anything.
Like just
Like,
get out
New
of town.
jerseys, new city, new just
No, maybe not a new city. Like I think Washington's a good place to be. Like obviously the Capitals, the Nationals, like. It's a good sports city, and then the Redskins are just not holding up
They're
their end
just
of the
there.
bargain.
the
And
Redskins
it's-
are just there.
I think it all comes down to everyone hates the fact that they're called the Redskins. Like you just have a lot you need to change. So
All right, I do want to talk real quick first. With the rest of this time, we have about 30 seconds. First overall pick. You saw Tua go down.
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow. I like
Yeah.
Joe Burrow.
I like Joe Burrow before Tua even went down because I know he's fully down now, but before that I thought he was a little more injury prone. And I'm not saying they shouldn't be picked, but I would pick Joe Burrow first.
I think Joe Burrow is the safer pick. He
Yeah.
definitely is
And
equal
he's
in
an Ohio
talent-wise.
guy, so
Like,
you can just stick in Cincinnati.
He's already an LSU Tiger. May as well go be a Bengal. Like
And he's from Ohio.
yeah, mascot won't change
He
much.
can be the boy. I think Cincinnati fans are excited.
Ohio teams love that when their boy comes in. Like LeBron when he came back.
Yeah,
when he
Ohio
went to Cleveland,
State
they were
fans.
like, "Whoa!"
Ohio State fans are excited for Urban Meyer to come this weekend,
Honestly.
just with game day with Fox.
Oh, we don't want to talk about
Well,
Penn State,
yeah,
Ohio
let's
State.
not
That's
talk about
scary.
them. All
Oh,
right.
that's
We're
scary.
an NFL show for
All
a
right.
reason. All right.
Well, that is our NFL show. So we are all done here. I'm Evan Lasek.
I'm Kelly Warner. Thanks
Thank
for
you
listening.
if you did listen. It's been 56 minutes at this point. So thank you very much if you definitely listen to this.
Yep.
We say a lot of random stuff and it's a lot of fun. So thank you for listening.
back next
I'll say that
time.
again. And it's about time to go in here. Don't want to miss. Don't want to get locked in here. Don't want to spend the
Then
night
you
in
have a
innovation.
really long show to listen to.
Oh, no, we'll just keep talking too. We get locked in. Definitely
one
listen to
wants that.
PSSN this past week. Did some really interesting stuff. Kelly covered a lot of material herself.
I do that.
I did not go on, but
Yeah. Check out PSSN. Thanks for listening.
we will be back
See ya.
after Thanksgiving break, taking a
Yeah,
week off for
enjoy your
Turkey Day.
turkey,
All right,
And we'll be back after.
have a happy Turkey Day.
Yep.
Goodbye.
Thank you for watching our latest edition of Penn State Sports Night. If you're a fan of our content, please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more clips. Also follow us on Twitter at PSSNTV and on Instagram at PSU Sports Night to keep up with the action. For all my colleagues, we are Penn State Sports Night.